What's up? The reason I picked this next topic to talk about is because this is something we've discussed a lot on this channel, and it's this culture of victimhood. There was recently such a great example of this, and we're going to talk about it. So Demi Lovato, she is a singer. She's a host on one of the TV shows or something. She's got 100 million followers on Instagram, and a lot of people were talking about Demi Lovato recently because she had an incident that was very, very triggering at a froyo shop. And that's what we're going to talk about. And a lot of people were coming after her saying that she was trying to destroy a small business. And she recently gave an apology. Hi, Kitty. She recently gave an apology. So we're going to look at that as well because it kind of highlights some really interesting things about sort of her personality or this victim mentality personality that, in my opinion, is more about narcissism than anything else. And I even have a little bit of an interesting study to read you. This is something I've been interested in some time. So let's talk about what happened with Demi Lovato. So I guess the other weekend, Demi Lovato was out and she went to a froyo shop in, I believe, Burbank or somewhere in the valley in California. And upon entering this froyo shop, she noticed that they had a lot of vegan options, a lot of sugar-free options, and this completely triggered her. She said she had an ED in the past, and seeing all these things triggered her greatly. So instead of writing a private grievance to the company, she gets on her Instagram and starts releasing a lot of Instagram stories where she's adding the company, calling them diet culture vultures, saying that this triggered her, all kinds of stuff, talking about how this was so upsetting. It upset her all weekend. She had to leave the store. She couldn't even buy anything, and basically called out the company and was basically trying to shame them for the options that they had available. Keep in mind, again, Demi Lovato has 102 million followers on Instagram. This tiny shop at the time only had about a few thousand followers. So yeah, it doesn't really add up. With that many followers, you could potentially ruin a small business. And this is not the time to be going after our small businesses when many of them have suffered in the pandemic in the first place. Well, Demi Lovato got a ton of backlash and released I think it was like a 7 or 8 minute video that I guess was an apology. I'm going to play like a little bit for you right now. It is edited. It's a little out of context, but these are things that she said, and you're going to get the gist of the video. It's still on her Instagram if you want to see the whole thing. But this was her apology. And here it is. And then we'll chat.
So I have kind of gotten in the middle of something with this yogurt shop called The Big Chill. Outspoken about the things that I believe in. I understand that sometimes my messaging can lose its meaning when I get emotional. Originally, I wanted to make a point, and I wanted to call out behaviors or branding things that didn't sit right with me. Because the truth of the matter is, as someone that deals with an eating disorder, is in recovery from an eating disorder, I still to this day have a hard time walking into a froyo shop. So by the time I got to the counter, after seeing so much diet stuff and health food stuff, it wasn't clear to me that it was for specific health needs. And so I didn't know that. I just took it as, okay, I'm going into a froyo shop, I'm seeing sugar-free, I'm seeing this and that. If there was a sign that said celiac, vegan, I would have understood. That would have been clear messaging to me. Definitely jumped to conclusions and probably shouldn't have, gone about this the way that I have, but I'm willing to talk to this froyo shop to help get the messaging right. I know that people struggle with froyo, with eating disorders. So that's why I'm super sensitive when I walk into a froyo place and I see diet stuff. I'm gonna be protective. I'm protective of the little girl inside of me that didn't get that representation at a young age of someone saying, all of this diet stuff is not okay. You're worth more than that. Left that yogurt store and didn't get the yogurt that I wanted. And then I had a hard time the rest of the weekend. Passionate. So I'm sorry that I got the messaging wrong. I'm sorry that I may have disappointed some people, but I'm not coming after a small business as someone with a lot of followers. That's not what I'm doing here.
Now, I completely sympathize with anyone that had an eating disorder or that struggles with body image. That's a terrible thing to go through, and it's very hard to get through that. And I have friends that have had things like that and have gotten through it, and I applaud them. They're strong and all of those things, and it's just an awful thing to have to deal with, and a debilitating thing to have to deal with. But notice how she says that froyo shops trigger her a lot. You can just not go to a froyo shop. I live in LA. There's a froyo shop literally on every corner. I haven't been to one in about 3 years. You can just not go. Froyo is not a necessity. It's a luxury. To be able to even go to a froyo shop and buy froyo is a luxury in and of itself. A definition of first world problems here. And I don't know what she is expecting. Should we just put bumpers everywhere so nobody hits a hard edge? And because I run into stuff sometimes, and when I see hard edges, I get quite triggered. It's also coming from someone who once promoted a detox tea to her 100 million followers, which we all know are complete scams, which this isn't on her Instagram anymore, but just saying. Before Demi even did the apology video, the froyo shop actually came out and publicly said, hey, yes, we do have a lot of options for our people that have maybe diabetes, that are celiac. We have vegan, we have sugar-free. We also have a lot of really indulgent, tasty treats as well. You know, we try to be open for everyone. Sorry if that offended you. And it was after that and after a lot of backlash that she made that video. But there's clearly other things going on with Demi Lovato, and this has nothing to do with the yogurt shop, yet she decided to take whatever problem she's having internally to attack a small business. You don't go after someone that's smaller than you. You always punch up, never down. This is a completely terrible look for Demi Lovato. And, you know, LA, like I said, has a froyo shop on every corner. They also have vegan things everywhere because everyone in LA is vegan. Everywhere you go, there are vegan options, and everywhere, almost everywhere you go, there are sugar-free options because there are so many people in LA who have dietary restrictions or are just vegan. And the reason I know there are so many vegans in LA is because they all tell you, you are a vegan. I don't mean to offend you, but for some reason, whenever you meet vegans, they love to tell you that they're vegan. What's the first rule of Vegan Fight Club? Tell everyone about Vegan Fight Club. As there's especially a large vegan population in LA, so it makes sense that a business would cater to them. And guess what, Demi? If you don't like their options, you could probably just go down the street, maybe a block or two, and there's another froyo shop. And if you can't handle going to froyo shops, that's not everyone else's problem. The world doesn't mold itself to appease Demi Lovato. I guarantee you, I don't know for sure, but I guarantee you what actually happened here is that Demi Lovato thought she was going to post these things on her Instagram and thought that the reaction that she was going to get from people was, oh my God, you're so brave and oh, like powerful, like whatever. That's the reaction that she thought she was going to get, because now we live in a society where victimhood status now puts you above other people. You get praise for being a victim. You get sympathy. You get rewarded socially for being a victim. How many grown women do you know that will post a selfie on Instagram and hashtag no makeup, and everyone's like, oh my God, you're so brave. Like, you're beautiful. And we reward this gross, narcissistic victimhood behavior. And there was actually a really interesting study. I'm going to read you a little bit of it. This was in Psychology Today. In this study, the title of it is Dark Personalities Are More Likely to Signal Victimhood. Research suggests a link between dark triad traits and victim signaling. So it's basically saying that people that publicly signal victimhood are more likely to exhibit narcissistic personality traits, Machiavellianism, self-centered. I don't know a single adult who hasn't experienced some sort of trauma in their life. I don't know a single adult whose parents have not screwed them up one way or another. I don't know a single adult who hasn't struggled with something in their life, whether it's addiction, a bad habit, something. We all have, but we can't expect the world to mold itself to our liking to make sure that we are not triggered anywhere we go. And we're not all getting on our Instagrams blaming society and claiming victimhood and signaling to the world that things need to change to appease us. I'll link to that Psychology Today article below. It's actually really interesting, but this kind of has a happy and cute ending because it looks like a lot of people don't in fact agree with Demi Lovato, and she herself got a bit ratioed. There was some fake tweets going around trying to defend her, saying, well, she actually donated money to this froyo shop and sent them a secret letter of apology, and this froyo shop got wind of it, and I want to read you what their final response to Demi Lovato's apology video was. And it looks like their business is in fact not hurting. They started out with a few thousand followers on Instagram. They have over 40,000 right now, and it looks like their business is just as great, if not better, than it has been. And keep in mind, they've been here for 36 years. Don't think they need criticism or help from Demi Lovato. But this is what they said. I really like their response. It says, to those of you asking, we have not received any donation from Demi's team, nor do we want one. We have not made any changes to our menu. We have not heard anything from Demi since her sorry, not sorry apology on Monday. We have not heard from her team. These are photoshopped images. Thank you again for all of your support. So the photoshopped images were these like fake tweets going around. Whatever. We don't care about that. I liked their response. I like the fact that they are not changing anything, and good for them for over 40,000 followers on Instagram. Demi Lovato, shame, shame, shame. Grow up. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about that. See you later. Bye.